Aaron Judge is a better version of Brock Lesnar.
What is something you love as much as the Charmin Bears love wiping?
As an opposing fan, you'd probably see his face and want to sock him between your cracks.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to another exciting edition of Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. I am today's host. I almost said Matthias Kurosaki. I'm like, I'm not Mac. There's no Mac today. Even I'm today's host, Alex Clark, joined by our very own Ryan Splash Potts. No Mac today. Mac is over in Japan having a grand old time over there. So it's just the two of us today. So today I am joined here by our very own Mark DeRosa Stan here. It is Brian Splash Potts. Slash, sorry for the little joke there. How you doing?
I mean, I guess DeRosa did play for the Braves, so I'm kind of indebted to him, I guess. I don't know. Do we think Matt got traded to like an NPB podcast?
Here's the thing is they did it in the NPB podcast, backed out at the last second pending the physical.
Yeah, okay.
So,
was it the knees, arm?
No, it was really just kind of everything with Mac, I think.
Oh.
Like, they just
okay.
They just took one look at the health report and went, "How are you breathing?"
Oh, is it the Mr. Burns thing?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Mac.
Like you are the fact that you are alive is an enigma.
Yeah. I'm vibing. I am a quarter of a century old now, so that's
Hey!
gangster. The Ravens are in the news.
Yes,
I will not proceed on that. But yeah, it's been a fun week. I had Fogo for the first time, like real and legitimate Fogo, like actually called Fogo de Chao. So that was fun.
Nice.
So yeah, shout out to crab cakes.
Shout out to crab cakes. I'm doing all right. I went and saw live wrestling on Monday. They had WWE Raw over at the Climate Pledge Arena. Got this fun shirt, so we love to see that. Here, the Champs 316, because the Seahawks said we are going to win the Super Bowl.
I don't know who John 316 is, but Ricky's going to hit 320.
Ricky is going to hit 320. This is very, very true. Austin 316 says, I just whipped your. Anyway, let's get going here with today's podcast. We're going to start things out here with the WBC has been in full force, and my, oh my, there have been so many good storylines from this WBC already. Here, do we want to start with, because honestly, I feel like Pool B has been probably the most talked about here, obviously because it's Team USA as well as Team Mexico. I'm not going to get into the Randy and Cal stuff. I'm just not going to talk about it. It's the biggest non-factor out there, biggest non-story. So just let you know, we're skipping past that part of it. But right now, we have Team Italy and Team Mexico playing at this very moment here. And this game will decide who goes to the WBC quarterfinals here. And that does not mean that it's either of the two of them here. There are a billion tiebreaker possibilities, it feels like here, but basically the easy way to understand it is if Italy wins, then Italy and the USA move on. If Mexico wins by more, it's like by scoring more than, 5 runs? It's by scoring more than 5 runs, then Italy and Mexico advance to the other tiebreakers here. So this game has a lot more going into it. If it's a low scoring game, that's less chance for USA to make it here. But it was 5 or less for Mexico to advance. Sorry, not more. My apologies. So Splash, I just want to ask you a little bit here. How have you been enjoying the WBC? Because it's been wall to wall baseball for the last
it's electric and
woogie.
Yes, exactly. When you juxtapose it to spring training games, that all the spring training games run together, they're all the same. It's 3 innings of the A players if you're home, and then a couple innings of the B players and the C players come in. And if you're on the road, you start with the B players, then you go to the C players and the D players, and you get this song and dance that pitchers can be subbed out mid-inning and return in the next inning, and pitch count this and pitch count that, and you don't really know what to believe. And then the World Baseball Classic is like the total opposite of that.
Yeah,
You go from
absolutely.
like they're both exhibitions, but they're an exhibition in name only in the World Baseball Classic because these are electric. Every pool has delivered some iconic moments, even Pool D, even a team with one win at the WBC, the Netherlands, down to their last out. They get a miraculous 3-hitter rally and they shock Nicaragua. They were down 4-2, and they're down to their last out. And then Rafaela reaches, Xander Bogaerts hits a little roller up along the third base line, goes off the bag into left field. Rafael to the third, Bogaerts to second, and our glorious Curaçaoan king, Ozzy Albies, delivers the first ever walk-off home run in the history of the World Baseball Classic.
It would then be done again a little bit later that day.
Yeah, and of course, Puerto Rico has to one-up Ozzy with Darrell Hernandez hitting a walk-off to sink Panama.
Also, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but we do actually have an update from the Mexico and Italy game. John Birdie has hit a home run, so it is now 2-0 with Italy ahead.
We probably could have done a live stream for the game.
That would have been so much fun, but I'm glad that at the very least we're talking about it now. But I just want to make sure we gave that update just because I feel like that matters. But anyway, please continue.
Yeah, and it's just been a great tournament. There's so many storylines, and the one thing that I like about these global tournaments, whether it's the Olympics, whether it's the World Cup, which is later this year in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, by the way, or the World Baseball Classic, is every team has its own set of storylines. Like you have the teams at the top that, like, if the U.S. were to be eliminated today, that is like DEFCON 5. You have the best. This is like a total disaster. Truly a total disaster. If Japan had been eliminated, that would have been a disaster. If the Dominican Republic was eliminated in the first round last tournament, that was a disaster.
That was
like they spent 3 years like, oh my god, that can't happen again. What are we doing? They were crashing out for 3 years consecutively. But then you have other stories in Brazil. They have a 17-year-old that's getting Aaron Judge to ground into double plays. He's in high school. He's not even in the draft yet.
They wanted to go party that night, and he said, sorry, I have math homework I gotta finish.
Yeah. And you have, like, even Team Canada. They had Philippe Almont, who hasn't pitched in the big leagues in a decade. And nope, he got the last outs in a game for Canada. There's so many great storylines. You have Alex, your name for Andre Satoria. He's an electrician. He was going to retire at the end of the tournament. He was famous for getting Ohtani out last tournament, and this year he pitched a great game. And there's so much. It's so rich with every team, with every athlete, really, that you just have like an incredible web of storylines. And sometimes we lose this on the day-to-day nature of baseball. Particularly in other sports, we definitely lose like the day-to-day nature. Like an NFL season is only 17 games. NBA and NHL are already 2 games. So maybe not every player is going to be that main character, but in a baseball season, 162 games, everyone is going to be a main character at some point. Nick Allen was a main character in my life for like 2 months. Nick Allen. And I could probably hit better than Nick Allen, with all due respect to Nick Allen. I'm with that. Yeah. Like every episode, Alex, you talk about this new Mariner that, I mean, I've heard of because, I mean, we work together, but it's this guy and this guy and this guy. We made a bet on Josh Rojas one year. It's like, okay.
By the way, we have paid up on that.
Yes, that's we have. MLB The Show comes out next week.
Or if you did the early release, then it comes out tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I just love the depth of the storylines. You know, you can pick any of the 20 teams and find a player and like learn about the player, and everyone has a different path. You know, Team Italy, for example, a lot of them are Americans, but they're on the big stage. It's a Jack Caglione could be one of the best power hitters in baseball as soon as this year. I would not be shocked. Or Vinny Pasquantino. Yeah, he might not start over Bryce Harper, but he's still a top 8, top 10 first baseman. You know, there's just so many great storylines for every team.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love the most about this tournament here. Like, some people legitimately were asking me, like, why do you care? These are exhibition games. And I'm like, no, like you said, they are exhibition games in name alone. Here, you try to tell me that Bobby Witt Jr. making those sliding plays over at shortstop and that throw here before the regular season, you tell him this game does not matter. You try to tell the thousands upon thousands of people that were chanting here for these guys to, like, for some guy to play here, you tell them that this does not matter. You tell Andres Sotoria, who is now basically a Czech hero for what he has done in the World Baseball Classic, you tell him that these games don't matter. Like, that's what's incredible to me. You are seeing matchups here that legitimately would be impossible to recreate. Here, you are not going to see an electrician very often against Shohei Ohtani. You're not going to very often see a high schooler against Aaron Judge here. And funny about both those scenarios, the one that does not play in the MLB was the one who came out on top. And that's what's amazing about this. It is so fun to get to watch these storylines. Yes, are the Czech Republic not going to qualify? Yeah, I don't care right now. I feel bad for it, obviously, because I want Andres to move forward. I actually did buy his baseball card already off Tops. But, I mean, dude's a legend. But you are seeing matchups that were basically impossible to happen. Even MLB versus MLB, go back to the last World Baseball Classic. Everyone talks about the final out, Shohei v. Trout, the matchup that everybody and their mother wanted to see. And I think I have now explained to multiple different girlfriends that are now ex-girlfriends. Like, there's a love in this thing. Like, how can you not be romantic about baseball is put to the absolute test during the WBC. You have these incredible storylines here. Like, you brought up the Dominican Republic not even making it out of pool play last time, and now they're 3-0. You talk now about, again, Andres Sotoria, who struck out Shohei Ohtani and Lars Nootbaar last time, and this time holds Team Japan scoreless for 4 2/3 innings with his fastest pitch. I think they said topped out at 83 miles an hour. Like, the dude's a legend here, and all these storylines come together to create something that is honestly beautiful. It's the reason why I honestly don't want baseball back in the Olympics. This is the baseball Olympics. I legitimately think that the WBC is more fun than the Olympics. That's a hot take, I understand. Here, probably the hottest of takes. But I love how the WBC is played. I love all the attention that is put on the WBC. This is incredibly fun. And we're seeing these storylines come to life one batter at a time.
At risk of driving the podcast off the rails, I want you to close your eyes and imagine baseball and imagine the Olympics and smash them together. I want to see it. I would like to see LA 28-28. I want to figure out how to get MLB players, fiddle around with the All-Star game. We know it. We've seen it in the NHL that this year that even viewership, even if you're an owner or you're Major League Baseball, and you're like, how can we make more money? All right. The All-Star game is one singular game. And you might have a couple extra people watch the All-Star game compared to a regular game because it's the All-Star game, but those are baseball fans.
Yeah.
Right. The World Baseball Classic brings in new fans. It exposes new fans to new leagues. It's how many players, when I'm watching the Pool C games, when I come home from work, how many players on Japan, South Korea, Australia, Chinese Taipei, how many of those players I haven't heard of or are vaguely familiar of that play in the KBO, play in the MPB, play in the Aussie League, play in the Taiwanese League? Like, you just get so much exposure, and you get exposure to all these players that are in minor leagues, in independent leagues. And I think on the stage of the Olympics, that would be even greater. And I think that would be a massive boost to the baseball watching group. Look at the popularity of the US-Canada match a couple Saturdays ago. That was a 5 a.m. game on the West Coast, 8 a.m. on the East Coast. Millions of people watched that game. And the NHL, instead of having an all-star game, they let their players go off to the Olympics. And I know there's it's a little bit different, and the Olympic hockey schedule could more closely align to an NHL schedule. And the baseball schedule, you play every day. World Baseball Classic, or in this case, the Olympics, wouldn't necessarily be every single day, but there are ways around it. You can structure the Olympics like the All-Star game. First off, it would be cool to have like an Olympic home run derby.
Oh,
that would
absolutely.
be sick. That would be sick. Like
that would be so much fun to watch.
Like Ohtani for Team Japan. You get
Kyle Schwarber for Team USA.
Yeah, Schwarber or Judge. The Olympics have different rules for qualifying. So like Caglione, Pasquantino, a lot of the Italian team, I don't think they'd be able to play for Team Italy because they aren't not residents. They aren't citizens. So like Randy could still play for Mexico because he's a Mexican citizen now, but you have to be a citizen of that country to play for them. So that might throw a wrench into some things, but that would be absolutely electric. And I think that would overall help the health of the game. So Major League Baseball, this is a plea to you. Figure out the lockout so we don't miss games in 2027. And then in 2028, figure out how to get in the Olympics. If you want to take this Dodgers Blue Jays momentum, that we have one of the greatest games ever played, Game 7 of the World Series, one of the greatest World Series ever, just a spectacular playoffs from start to finish. And baseball is growing. It's $10 billion industry. If you want that to keep growing, if you want to print money at will, figure it out in 2027. Just get all 162 games in. You did that enough in 2022. Fair enough. And then in 2028, you get the rocket booster effect with the Olympics. So figure it out and have those two things. And instead of 10 billion or 12 billion, it's 20 billion. It's a massive TV deal. And I know Rob Manfred, before he leaves as commissioner, wants to have all 30 teams under an umbrella, similar to what the NFL does, and how they have all the broadcasting rights as one unit, as opposed to 30 different units, or in the NFL, 32 different units. So get some momentum, get some positive momentum, and say, hi, Amazon, we want $25 billion and you can broadcast all of our games. Boom. Something like that. That Major League Baseball, you have a lot of opportunity to make money, and that would be great for fans. That would reduce blackouts. That would solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. Figure it out.
I want to clarify something from like a moment ago, right? Me saying that I don't want baseball in the Olympics, that is from the basis of I legitimately feel like the Olympics will mess it up. They will mess up how we do. Because one of the things, like you said here, qualifying is very different here for the Olympics as opposed to how we do it in the WBC. You're not going to see a lot of these qualifying games. They're not going to even broadcast most of the time. Here, you're only going to see the end tournament, basically, for that, I feel. And I love watching these pool plays. I love watching these games here because, again, I understand that, we're a little bit outside of we can't just call ourselves normal fans here. We are not trying to sound elitist or anything here. We just watch a lot of baseball. We like the game. We talk about the game. We think about the game, probably 75% of our brain power at the very least. But I don't want to see it to where the qualifying games get just gone. Right? Because again, then you lose the story of Andres Sotoria. You lose the story here of these like the 17-year-old, the multiple 17-year-old pitchers that play for Brazil here, and I don't want to lose that here. And I feel like if it does go fully to the Olympics, yes, you're going to get much bigger bigger numbers on the bigger names, but you're going to lose out on those stories that honestly are what made me fall in love with the WBC.
Okay, I think there's some fair points there. As of right now, the structure at the 2028 Olympics is 6 teams. The U.S. has already qualified. There's 2 teams that will qualify from this tournament, the highest placed teams from the Americas. So it could be the Dominican Republic and Venezuela. You could have Cuba. You could have Puerto Rico, etc. Then next year, there's the 2027 WBSC Premier 12, the highest placed team from Asia and the highest placed team from Europe/Oceania. So this could be Japan and the Czech Republic. This could be Spain and South Korea. This could be,
We
Yeah,
love
that
the
could work.
WBSC here. They're the ones that gave Power Pros back to the West.
The GOATs.
The
And
absolute
then
goats.
the last spot is a 6-team tournament held in March of 2028 that would feature the Continental Championships. So I think we could fiddle with that. I don't know if that is a possibility, but 6 teams, I feel like it's too small, and you have this weird, like, it's looped into this tournament if you can qualify for the Olympics. And like I said, with the just even qualifying for a team like Pasquantino, Caglione, etc., like Aaronola, as far as I know, is not an Italian citizen. He's an American citizen who has Italian heritage. So he would have like 2 years to get that figured out if he wants to play for Team Italy at the or at the Olympics. So I hope it gets sorted. I hope they can, mix it into All-Star Weekend or All-Star Week. I know, Alex, you had a great time. And I know Mac went to an event back when it was in Queens, and I would have had a great time had I gone to the one in Atlanta. But I think the Olympics are, in a lot of ways, bigger than sports.
Agreed.
And it's like one of the greatest showcases of humanity we have. Arguably the single greatest.
I could agree with that.
Like,
absolutely.
we every 2 years, alternating summer and winter, we stop what we're doing to watch random athletes from across the country. We may not remember the names. We may not remember, exactly what they did. I might not remember how fast someone swam or how fast someone ran or how many goals someone scored, but we remember how we felt in those moments. We remember, tuning in to watch Mike Tirico, who was phenomenal at the Olympics this year.
Absolutely.
I remember the Lezak moment in 2008 and Phelps winning 8 gold medals. 8 gold medals! It's an incredible time, and I hope baseball can capitalize on that.
Yeah, I would love for it too. Here, to get to that point here, I just have my reservations about how well it would be handled here. But at the same time, like, if you can get it right and you can make it work that way, absolutely, I want it to be part of the Olympics here. But again, like you said here, the Olympics are part of something that is one of the most human things out there. Here, don't get rid of some of the humanity that we have built with the WBC, like especially with these pool level games and all that stuff. Here, quick update here from the Italy and Mexico game. Here, Nori did a sacrifice bunt to bring someone in. It is now 3-0 here in the 5th.
In fact, it's now 4-0 as Marlins center fielder Jacob Marcy hit an RBI single to score. Okay, he got thrown out, so it screwed up my baseball or my MLB game day.
It is. It is
Jacob Marcy singles on a ground ball to Jaron Duran. Dante Nori scores. Marcy out at first on the throw. Job, everybody. Italy leads 4-0.
Okay, well, things are looking really good for the USA right now. Here, Team USA, because they need Italy to win in order to advance to the quarterfinals.
All right, well, Alex, I have a question for you.
I was about to lead into you for the question of the day, if you're ready for it. It is time for the question of the day. So now, Splash, what is your question?
What is the optimal crab to cake ratio?
I don't eat crab cakes. I don't eat seafood.
All right, it is a solo podcast now. The optimal crab to cake ratio is all crab. Crab is tremendous. I'm a big fan of seafood. Not like fried fish. I'll generally pass on that. Like fish sticks, pass, or like fish and chips, pass. But big fan of sushi. Big fan of shrimp, scallops. Big fan of salmon. Salmon's top tier. Crab, lobster, clams, oysters, mussels. Fun times.
I get it. Yeah. By the way, you sending me down into the backstage thing again here just means I'm going to do it to you at some point again, and just be ready for that.
That's true. So now we're going to talk about Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh.
Okay, so there we go. We're going to delete Splash from the podcast. No,
all good.
And anyway, I think it's time we move on to our starting pitchers here, because legitimately, this class of starting pitchers is so dang good. Again, for me, there's a top 3, and then 4 you could be a bit iffy on, and then there's like 6 other people that could be in the number 5 spot here. So there's a billion like honorable mentions. It was hard to keep it to just a few. Here, I don't know about you, but I really struggled just with trying to get 4 and 5 put together on my list. 1 through 3 for me were pretty easy.
Yeah, I think that the hard part for me was getting from 6 to 5. Like I'm pretty confident that 6 players are like a cut above the rest of the group, but cutting that 6th player, that was tough. And I feel confident in my order. And of course, it's going to last for all of 2 weeks when one of the guys is a blow up outing and the number 6 guy throws a perfect game. It'll happen. So
sometimes just be like,
are you ready, Alex? Do we want to reveal Max's list first?
How about we reveal Max like as we go along?
Sure.
Here,
all right.
so then I'll go first then on mine because this one was a few honorable mentions here. I had to put a Mariner in our budget. So Brian Wu, love him. Logan Gilbert's also great, but some that I did not put in that were I was heavily considering were Cole Reagans, Logan Webb, and Jacob deGrom. Here, like deGrom honestly could have been number 5. Like to be fair, he was probably my number 7 with Cole Reagans being my 6th. Although I really love Logan Webb's ground ball rate. Like that's something that I personally love. To me, it came down to who is someone that I really trust, someone who has been in the top moments for their entire career, and that's going to be Chris Sale. Chris Sale is such an interesting pitcher to me for the sole fact of he's about to go into his age 37 season, and he is still getting Cy Young votes. Like, he did get Cy Young votes in 2025. I'll be very clear. He was still an all-star and still had an ERA of 2.58. Like, what do you want? What more do you want at that point? He has been one of the most dominant pitchers for years. It's still weird to me to say that he has been in the league now for 15 years. Gosh, he was a rookie in 2010 with the White Sox as a reliever and then became a starter, and the rest is history. But yeah, no, you take a look at this guy and you just can't help but be in awe about what he has accomplished in the last few seasons, right? I just want to take the last 3. No particular reason why. If you take the combined WAR of just the last 3 seasons, according to Baseball Reference, here you now have over 12 Baseball Reference WAR in 3 seasons for a starting pitcher is nuts. Here, it is one where you legitimately are like, okay, yeah, you are one of the best. And it's seeming like he's really hitting his stride also later in his career. Like, does he have injury concern? Absolutely. We have seen injury concern from Chris Sale, but there are still very few players who pitch like he does. With that kind of awkward arm slot, a fastball that still buzzes in there, a slider that still moves like a sweeper at this point. Yeah, he is one of the most unhittable pitchers out there. You watch him play, and anytime you see that Chris Sale is on the mound, you may think for a moment that you have a chance, and then he reminds you why you just lost this game.
Yeah, I think that's entirely fair. I may or may not be talking about Chris Sale in a moment. I'll go to Max number 5.
Okay, let's take a look. What
he
Max
has
number 5? He has
Yoshinobu
Yamamoto. Okay.
The World Series MVP, and daisies. I'll defend Mac here. Yamamoto was my 6. He's in the tier to me with 4 and 5. He's right there. I wish there was a little bit more volume. That's the only thing. If he was on a different team that wasn't being coddled, because the Dodgers know they're going to win 175 million games. His career high in innings is 173. The year before he threw 90. He's pitched to a 2.66 ERA, and he was phenomenal in the playoffs. He has a 2.25 ERA over 56 playoff innings through 2 seasons. He was an all-star last year. He was a Cy Young finalist, a whip under 1. He had the best hits per 9 in the National League. He's great. And I think next year he probably will be in the top 5. I think someone in the top 5 falls out for any number of reasons. Pitchers are pitchers. They sometimes aren't great the next year. Look at Brandon Webb. Goes from winning the Cy Young to 2 years later, he's out of baseball, and he's not like 75 years old. So
Right.
things will change, but yeah, Yamamoto had one of the greatest playoff runs of all time this last season. A 1 ERA in the NLCS, a 1.02 ERA in the World Series. That's just phenomenal. The stuff is great. It's like javelin throwing techniques in practice that it works. He throws a baseball like really well. So he's just off my list, but
I would
he
like
could be
to
on it
say
next
some
year.
notes on him as well, because obviously I do not have him on my list. I'll just say that right now. Only reason why he did not make my list was just out of work. Like the amount he has not pitched that much in the major leagues here. Unlike a guy like Paul Skeens, who I will be talking about later, is just the talent is incredible. Yoshiro Yamamoto, I think he's going to be good in the regular season. Obviously, he's going to be solid. I think where he becomes like in that top tier is in the playoffs, because we have seen what he is able to do on short rest, where he doesn't need to do that during the regular season. And I'm not saying that hurts his value in any way, shape, or form, but he gets that extra step when he does need to pitch on short rest, because we're all expecting maybe he's not going to do as well. No, he's going to come out and still be the best guy out there. I love Yamamoto. He's good.
And I think that being on the Dodgers plays against him a little bit, because he isn't necessarily going to have the volume if his hand is sore after a game. Okay, go on the IL for 10 days. We'll be fine without you. As good as Yamamoto is, as good as Snell, Ohtani as a pitcher, Glasnow, Kershaw in the last 10 years, etc. So that kind of hurt him from a volume perspective. And my number 5 is not exactly Logan Webb, but he's pretty close. Christopher Sanchez, a tremendous pitcher. He had an 8-win season on Baseball Reference last year, which is just ridiculous. He is one of my favorite archetypes of pitcher that he gets strikeouts. He struck out 212 batters. He struck out 26% of batters faced. He gets a ton of ground balls. He had a 58% ground ball rate. So either you're swinging and missing and going back to the dugout with your tail between your legs, or you're hammering the ball into the ground and Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, or Alec Boehm are going to throw it over to Bryce Harper and you're out anyways. You might get 2 outs if there's a man on base, which unlikely, because Sanchez allowed a 595 OPS last year, which is quite good. Doesn't allow homers. He's allowed half a homer per 9 each of the last 2 seasons. Doesn't walk anyone. His FIP has been 3 or below the last 2 years, and an ERA of 2.50 at Citizens Bank Ballpark is truly phenomenal. A 1.76 ERA plus, that is ridiculous, and it just it's excellent volume. It's excellent stuff. It's an excellent sinker ball. He and Framber Valdez have the 2 best sinkers in baseball, as far as I'm concerned. It's very Brandon Webb like, but from the left side. That you just get tons of easy outs, and like Trey Turner was much improved defensively last season. All right. Bryson Stott is good defensively. Bryce Harper is super athletic at first base. I know Alec Boehm has his issues, but he has his issues. But most ground balls, he'll vacuum up. So Sanchez is a great pitcher. Other than against the Braves, I hope he continues to have his success.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll be talking about Sanchez in a bit here, but how about you go to your number 4?
That said, he is not the best lefty with the CS initials in his own division, because that is my glorious king, my Cy Young winner, my future Hall of Famer, Chris Sale. If not for breaking a rib in the middle of the season, Chris Sale was about to win another. Probably going to finish second to Skeens in Cy Young voting. He had a bad start to start the year. He kind of got tossed around by San Diego. After that, he was just phenomenal. He's had 2 bad starts in 2 years. He's made 49 starts as a Brave, 50 appearances. He came in after Charlie Morton 1 game. It's a 2.5 ERA, essentially, 2.46 ERA, strikes everybody out. And so in 303 innings, he struck out 390 batters. That's 11.6 per 9. He struck out more batters per 9 in 2025 than he did in 2024. And if you're yelling at me, splash, don't use that stat. Okay, he had a higher strikeout percentage, 32.4% to 32.1%. Now, he's not a crazy ground ball guy. He was under 40% this year, so he's a different pitcher than Sanchez. But the slider is the best breaking pitch in baseball, period. End of statement. That's what it is. Last year, it graded out as the best, and he didn't even pitch the full season. So, yes, he only threw under 25 innings, and yes, I get it. That was not an elbow injury. That was not a shoulder injury. It was a fluky broken rib. the entire Chris Sale storyline is basically fluky injuries. So I hope and pray he does not get another fluky, stupid injury like Braves pitchers have been known to do this year. Chris Sale is unbelievable. You look at the strikeout minus walk percentage, and that is 26%. If you had a 26% strikeout rate, you're Christopher Sanchez.
That's insane.
Chris Sale is so good at striking batters out that even if you take out all the batters he struck out or take out all the batters he walked and you subtract those and you do all the math, he's still striking out guys at a rate comparable to a top 5 pitcher in the game. That's why, Chris Sale, you are the GOAT.
Yeah, I love Chris Sale. He is so much fun to watch at this point here. Just everything that he does is so impressive as a pitcher. And the fact that he's also doing this at now, age 37? Like, still at the age 37 has one of the best pitches just in general, ... Right?
Mm-hmm.
That slider's
he just got an extension in Atlanta. He'll be there through 2028. And I hope to see his 3,000th strikeout. That would be, I think he's Cooperstown bound already. Mm-hmm. This run with the Braves, getting over 2,500 strikeouts, winning a Cy Young finally, I think it's really helped him. The only things left is if the Braves were to be successful on the team level, which Sale was already won a World Series, so that's not like a major need. It would be like if the Tigers won the World Series this year. Like Verlander already has his rings. So, but another Cy Young would be cool. I don't think it's going to happen. Winning the World Series, I don't think is going to happen. But 3,000 strikeouts, that could very easily be in play in 3 years.
Absolutely. All right, I'll go into my number 4 here, and our number 4s and 5s have been splashed because mine is Christopher Sanchez. And I'm going to be honest here, these two really were interchangeable for me. They're both extremely good. The only reason why I put Sanchez higher is because last year was nuts for Sanchez. Here, he finished second in the Cy Young voting, got 13th in the MVP voting. But this is the stat I want to bring up here. You know, I like the WAR stat. It's a fun, easy stat to explain to people. 8 WAR. 8 WAR as a starting pitcher is insanely good. He had one of the most productive seasons as a starting pitcher that we have seen in a while. Like, I love watching what he does here. Again, he's got the good pitchers. Like you say, I like the archetype that he is here, but again, a 2.5 ERA in 2025 is nuts. Here, a strikeout to walk ratio of 4.82. That's not going to, blow the minds away, but still pretty darn good, especially for a starting pitcher here. On top of it, he was an absolute workhorse in 2025. One of the few pitchers to pitch over 200 innings. 200 innings is something we don't see as much anymore here because we're so cautious with a lot of these pitchers here. It's like going back and talking about Sandy Alcantara, right? Back when he was the workhorse, that was one of the biggest things for him, was that he was the workhorse. He was going to give you a lot of innings. Now, hopefully, Sanchez does not go the way of a Sandy Alcantara and starts to fall off early on. But I had to put him at 4 because if last season was not a fluke, this guy will compete with Skeens. Like, will he be will he be number 1? Probably not, just because Skeens is that good. But at the same time, this dude put together one of the best National League pitching seasons that we've seen in a while. He is extremely valuable to a heavy contending team in the Phillies. I mean, what more do you want from the guy? He's done everything. He even has 3 complete games over the last 2 years. Again, going back to that workhorse mentality. I put him above Sale just because with Sale, I'm a little bit worried at a possibility of another injury here, just because, again, it's nothing personal. It's just a track record. So, with that being said, though, yeah, Christopher Sanchez, if he puts together anything like he did this year, he's going to be moving up this list. So now with that, let's go take a look at Max, number 4. And his number 4 is, drumroll please, also Christopher Sanchez. He also has, so yeah, can't fault him here. Not at all. What I'm curious of, because you know the list. I have not seen his list yet. Here, is that did he leave Chris Sale off the list? Which if he did, then there's some real questions that we have. And on top of it here, oh no, I'm sorry, if he did not leave Chris Sale off the list, there's going to be some questions because I think there are definitely 3 pitchers that are better than Chris Sale right now.
I will confirm that Mac has his top 3. I will not expose the order, but his top 3 starting pitchers are, in fact, Luis Torrens, Bryce Elder, and the other Luis Castillo.
Yeah, the Luis F. Castillo, yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
but no, Mac actually did not have Max Fried. He did not have Chris Sale on his list. His honorable mentions: Hunter Brown, Brian Wu, Jacob deGrom, Zach Wheeler, Logan Gilbert. So,
hey,
not a top 10 pitcher.
I mean, he gave me to our Mariners, so good job, Mac. Appreciate it.
Darn. And this is classic Braves hate at its finest. I want Mac to know that his pitcher, Nolan McLean, nearly cost America a chance at going to the World Baseball Classic second round. But my pitcher, my true blood Chris Sale American, has actually won a Cy Young and it's done something.
Update from the WBC. Italy is piling on right now, 6-0 here in the 6th.
And I believe that would clinch a spot for
I think that does clinch, yeah, for the USA to make it now.
If Mexico were to come back and win, Italy's runs allowed per out or whatever would be
would
too
take
great.
them. Yeah, would be too great. So yeah, congratulations USA. Now Mark DeRosa, you are correct in that they have punched their ticket.
Yeah, they have.
Anyway.
You know who punches a lot of tickets, Alex?
Who punches a lot? I mean, so usually a train attendee usually does.
Yeah, Garrett Crochet does. In fact,
Garrett Crochet absolutely punches a lot.
5 of them. He's Mac's number 3. He's my number 3. And Alex, if you don't mind,
yeah, he's my number 3 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett Crochet. I can't believe I'm saying this. I want to give a shout out to the 2024 White Sox.
You know it, fair. Yeah, fair.
I know they were horrendous. They were one of the worst teams we will ever see. But they said Garrett Crochet, starting pitcher. And guess what? It worked. He's awesome. He's unbelievable.
Very well. Yeah.
It is just his second year of starting. This is a man who has been plagued with injuries his entire life, his entire career, back to college, his entire big league career. He missed all of 2022 with injury. And in 2025, his second year as a full starter, he never started a game before 2024 in the big leagues. Led the American League with 205 innings pitched, led the majors with 255 strikeouts, faced the most batters of any American League pitcher, led the American League in strikeouts per 9, was second in Cy Young voting. 2.59 ERA, 6 WAR, 18 wins. White Sox, congratulations, frankly. Yeah. A whip just over 1. Yeah. Truly phenomenal stuff to find it. And Crochet is very Chris Sale-like, but he has a couple extra pitches. So Sale is just going to bludgeon you to death with fastballs and sliders and the occasional changeup. Crochet, fastball, cutter, sweeper. Oh man, he is very good. A 617 OPS allowed. You're not going to get a hit. He's not going to walk you. A sub 6% walk rate each of the last 2 seasons. The strikeout rate ticked down a little bit from his White Sox year, but the ground ball rate went up from 44.5% to 48%. So the strikeout rate was still over 30%. The K minus BB percentage is right around 26%, where I said it was with Sale. Just a phenomenal pitcher. And guess what? When the game of the season, when it mattered, he put his nuts on the New York Yankees. That's all that matters. If you are a Boston Red Sox fan, that's all that matters. Would you rather win a World Series or dunk on the Yankees? I think you'd rather dunk on the Yankees, and that's exactly what Garrett Crochet did. So, Garrett Crochet, congratulations. You are our collective number 3s.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Crochet, like, do you remember when he was supposed to just be a reliever? He was just supposed to be a closer, maybe. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, yeah, he's a hard-throwing lefty. He'll be a great closer. And we're like, no, he's a starting pitcher. It's like, no, he's a reliever. He doesn't have the arm to be able to be a starting pitcher. We now look at the year of our Lord 2025 here, where he threw over 200 innings pitched. In fact, he led the American League in innings pitched at 205 and a third innings. And during that also led all of baseball at 255 strikeouts and batters faced at 814. Finished second to Cy Young to someone else. I wonder who that might be. But also was a top 10 in MVP voting. legitimately, this dude as a pitcher is him. He is so unbelievably good because on top, like you said, Chris Sale is an amazing comparison to him. With that being said, though, Crochet's fastball, that fastball that he has along with that cutter that he throws are so unbelievably dangerous because on top of it, he can pinpoint them extremely well. And on top of it, even if he doesn't pinpoint them, he's still going to break a bat almost every time, it feels like. The guy throws this baseball with an unrivaled confidence. And I know the win stat doesn't mean anything here, but when you have 18 wins where you were the starting pitcher and your team won that ball game, or you were the pitcher and your team that won that ball game. Look, again, I don't put a whole lot of stock in the win stat, but you don't see very often anymore starting pitchers getting near that number. Because a lot of times they don't even go 5 innings. He's going full. He has actually done a complete game shutout this year here too. So yeah, that's fun. Garrett Crochet is so good, guys. And it's so weird to think now that the White Sox have had 2 players, a hitter and a pitcher, that they needed to figure out how to trade. And one both of them they got pretty good value for. One is one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball, and one is Garrett Crochet now. And the other is Louis Bob, who very well might just need a new coat of paint to go be amazing out in Queens.
I'm downvoting that one.
I know you are.
He's washed.
Okay.
Hey, at least they got a switch hitter in return for him.
Absolutely. All right.
Ha.
So here we go. Here's the question. This is really a 1A and 1B type thing, I think. I don't think that's too outright to say. So if you don't mind, I'll just want to do my number 1 and number 2 at the same time.
Sure. Go ahead.
Because at that point, I think all of us had the same 1 and 2. It's just about which order they're in.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right, cool. Yeah, so with mine, my number 2 is Tarek Skubal. And number 1 is Paul Skeens. Okay. I know I'm probably going to get some heat on this. And hey, cool, he got it too. Wait, Splash, did you do it too? I just need to know, did you do it too? He did! Let's go! I thought I was going to be the outlier there. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't get to see the list beforehand. Splash does here. But okay. I love both of these pitchers. Both of these pitchers define what it means to be a starting pitcher. Tarek Skubal, watching what he does for the Tigers, he was an absolute legend for this team. He put the team on his back as a starting pitcher. Do you know how hard it is to put a team on your back as the starting pitcher where you can't contribute at all to the offense? He is insane. His pitch mix is great. There's a reason why every commentator in the world here glazes him. He is incredible when he pitches. The only reason why I have him at number 2 is because there is no flaw in Paul Skeens' game. There's not one. Tarek Skubal, I've seen him give up the home run a little too much, which, don't get me wrong, is it the worst thing ever? No. Again, he's the second best pitcher in baseball, according to all 3 of us. But when I look at Paul Skeens and I watch him pitch, I still feel sad that he's in Pittsburgh because he does not get what he deserves over there. Hopefully this year is going to be different because the Pirates actually look pretty all right this year. But at the same time, you take a look at what Skeens does here. We are about to enter season 3 or season 2.5, depending on how you want to look at it, of Paul Skeens. In the 2 seasons that we have seen him, he has put together a total of 13.5 baseball reference WAR. Let me just bring this to say, and again, I don't mean to pick on you, Splash. I do apologize. Sale over 3 years had 12. Skeens in a year and a half has 13.5. Absolutely insane. The dude is one of the best pitchers. He has not finished a year with an ERA above 2. Like, what more do you want? The guy throws at an incredible rate. He's I was about to say he's not a workhorse as much, but he still threw 187 innings last year. And in the year where he came up about early midway through, still threw 133. And this year, he will probably be on pace. Again, knock on wood, injuries aside here, will probably break that 200 mark this year. And if he does, oh, Lord have mercy on the NL Central. Like, I feel bad for the NL Central teams that they have to play against Skeens this much here. Because when you watch, I got to watch him play live last year. I made sure that I got a seat for when Paul Skeens faced against the Mariners, and I just felt that hopelessness. Watching him pitch, it was not fair to see what he was doing to the Mariner hitters. By the way, Mariners that year, what happened? Oh, yeah, they went all the way to the ALCS and were 8 outs away from making the World Series. He shut them down like they were nothing. Legitimately, just completely shut them down. And then as soon as he was taken out of the ball game, the first reliever gives up a home run, and Mariners win it 1-0, I think. Paul Skeens is such on a different level than almost everyone. Tarek Skubal is right there, I will say. He is just as good here, but when I watch Skubal, I still think that there's hope to win. When I watch Paul Skeens, I am waiting for him to leave. Because if that's the only way how you're going to beat him. If he starts throwing complete game shutouts, you're just done. I'm sorry. I don't see how you hit any of the pitches that he has. His fastball, his changeup, the curve, everything that he has is off the absolute charts.
Yeah, it's two remarkably similar pitchers. I'm going to use one stat here to explain. Batting average against. How good are you at hitting the baseball and getting to first base? The last 2 seasons, Tarek Skubal, 200 and 201. Paul Skeens the last 2 years, 190, 198 and 199.
Oh my gosh. It's almost identical.
Every 5 batters, Skeens and Skubal combined face, one of them gets to first base on a hit safely. That's just phenomenal. The last 2 seasons, OPS allowed, both of them, 5.5x. 5.52, 5.58 for Skeens, 5.58, 5.59 for Skubal. It's incredible. Skubal's my number 2. Skeens is my number 1. The difference, Skubal gets the benefit that he is left-handed, so he just gets to mow down lefties, and he's great against righties. So you factor in that he is often against the platoon advantage because there's so many more right-handed hitters than left-handed hitters in Major League Baseball. So he's going against the platoon advantage and still dominating. Okay, that's a positive for Skubal. He has a higher K- BB percentage. I've talked about that with the last couple players. His is 28%. That is ridiculous. Skeens, it's just 23.8% last year. First year was about 27%. Skubal allows less consistent hard contact, only a 33% hard hit rate allowed last season. Skeens was 40%. They're similar in terms of getting ground balls. But I want you to understand that Paul Skeens is playing on an incompetent team. He is playing on a team that in the last 50 years, give or take, since 1979, since the Pirates last won the World Series, they've had an above-average offense like 3 times. They had Barry Bonds on their team, by the way. Prime Barry Bonds. Bobby Bonilla was on that team, MVP finisher. They had an MVP in Andrew McCutchen. They've had some really good teams. Not much recently, but in the early 90s, they had some excellent teams. They were a mainstay in the NLCS. And then the mid-2010s, they were right there in the playoffs. It felt like every single season. But even with that, the Pirates are incompetent. They are incompetent offensively. And Paul Skeens, despite knowing what he's up against every single time, goes out and shoves. Last season, this is my final stat. This is why Paul Skeens is the best. Win probability added pitchers. Paul Skeens, number 1. RE24. That's run expectancy. That is just base out. It's a base out runs. It's a formulation of how much an individual batter is doing. Doesn't matter what the score is. Doesn't matter what inning it is. Just matters if you get a single with no men on, no outs. That is always the same. in a context neutral situation, Paul Skeens was the best pitcher in baseball. 50.6, RE24. Context mattered. Did you increase your team's chances to win the baseball game? Paul Skeens, yes. Derek Skubal, yes. He was second. But Paul Skeens, yes. There was no pitcher in baseball that was better at giving his team a chance to win than Paul Skeens. And I know he won the Cy Young with a 10-10 record. This is why wins are a weird stat. But this tells me that Skeens' innings quality is very similar to Skubal's, maybe a tick better. His ERA was a little bit lower, but not so far lower that it matters so much. But Skeens was consistently put in a more brutal situation because his team's incompetent. His team doesn't score runs, and he performed. He gave his team a chance to win. If the Pirates had a better bullpen, if David Bednar wasn't like falling off a cliff, like slow motion falling down a cliff, maybe the Pirates would have been in the playoff hunt. And maybe this year with a better offense, they are in the playoff hunt. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. So Paul Skeens is the best pitcher on the planet. Like I said, it was last year at this time.
I want to bring up two more just minor stats here, right? So first off, we talk a lot about Aaron Judge being the best hitter in baseball, best player for a lot of people, with being the OPS plus of 200 plus, right? Where he is playing at double the production of the average player. Paul Skeens' ERA plus this year, 217. So he is doing over double the production of the average hitter. 2024, year beforehand, he pitched for only about, I would want to say about 5/8 of the year. Is that a fair assessment on the number? Yeah. He had, during that time, he had given up 10 home runs. 10 home runs, which for about 5/8 of the season, that's a pretty low number. 2025, he gave up 11 over the course of a full season. You add basically another half to the season, he only gave up one more home run. Like, that's incredible. He even had the better ERA. Both years, he has had an ERA plus of over 200. That is just nuts. And to compare that to Derek Skubal, again, very good numbers, just not at Skeens level right now. His ERA plus this year, 187. The year before that, 174. He won the Cy Young both years. This is in no way any mark down on Derek Skubal. I want to be very clear about that. Derek Skubal is the best pitcher in the American League. He is a dominant force that adds, that adds to your chances of winning a game more than any other pitcher in the American League. Paul Skeens is just better. And again, if you are the Pirates organization, you are thanking your lucky stars that you got that pick to take him, because that was probably the easiest pick that you'll ever have to make in your life. And this guy, as long as, knock on wood, stays healthy, there's a legitimate chance he's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. I know we're saying that very early. I'm very clear and I understand that. But you take a look now, this is now through 1.5 years here, and there's been no signs of slowing down. In fact, there's only been signs where he's learning new things. He's getting better and better. How can you get better than where he's at? We're talking about Aaron Judge being in his prime at the 200 OPS plus level. We have Paul Skeens that is 23 years old and is at that production level for a pitcher. Like, legitimately, what more would you want?
Yeah, and Skeens is everything I think you'd want in an ace-level pitcher. It's great velocity, it's great stuff, it's a big repertoire, but it's more than that. It's an incredible knowledge of the game. It's an incredible pitchability. You've talked about the Mariners, how they share grips. They're always learning new pitches. Andres Munoz kick change last year. Everyone's learning this pitch and learning that pitch. Paul Skeens can legitimately throw 8 pitches. So he's the best parts of Yu Darvish. He's the best parts of Aroldis Chapman, because he throws for a starter, throws ridiculously hard. He has pinpoint control. So it's like if you just gave Greg Maddux, like, we're just going to increase your fastball from 90 to 100. And instead of, you have good pitches, we're going to add more good pitches. It's incredible what he's doing. And I hope he's healthy, and I hope he, in a couple years, has a $1 billion contract, because that could low key be what you're pacing for if he continues on this path of sub 2 ERAs, or even it doesn't have to be a sub 2 ERA. We know ERA is not the best sometimes, but it's
if you
ridiculous.
have a 200 ERA plus for, say, like 4 years in a row, that's $1 billion pitcher right there.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, at that point, you are now, think about it this way, just logic wise, you're now paying for one pitcher that does the production level of 2. I mean, that's insane. That's Ohtani levels of versatility that you are capitalizing and you are gaining on here.
Yeah, and so Skeens through 2 years is a 2.15 ERA plus, as a 2.10 over both seasons. Prime Pedro Martinez, his best 2 seasons back to back, 243, 291. So we're saying Paul Skeens, his average through 2 seasons would be like the 3rd best Pedro Martinez season. Actually, one, that's insane for Pedro, but that's better than, that's basically Cy Young Pedro. That's Expo Cy Young Pedro. I compared him to Greg Maddux. Maddux is 94, 95. Skeens is not quite there. I'll give him that. Maddux was 271 and 260 those seasons. So Paul Skeens, his average, his worst actually, in fact, big league performance, is better than Greg Maddux's 3rd best season. It's better than 2 Maddux Cy Young seasons.
It's absolutely
these are the greatest pitchers of all time, some of the greatest pitchers of all time. And rookie Paul Skeens, 2nd year Paul Skeens is right there. Randy Johnson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, never had a season with a 200 ERA plus. He peaked at 197.
And for
he won 5 Cy Youngs. He won 4 consecutive Cy Youngs with Arizona. He was in the 180s. He was great at run prevention. He was about a 2.3, 2.4 ERA guy. Skeens is even better. It's just phenomenal what he does in terms of run prevention.
It's insane.
Once in a generation.
Truly once in a generation. But let us know what you guys think. XYZ Ballin, it's always good to see you in the chat. No love for Logan Webb here. Well, I mean, we talked about him a little bit at the beginning of the segment on it. Not a whole ton, because, gotta be honest here, for me, he was very close to like my top 5. Here, he's easily in my top 10. But, I mean, Logan Webb is, again, another fantastic arm here.
Hey, I'm going to talk about Logan Webb more in a couple weeks. So XYZ Ballin, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, buddy. We know you will, and we appreciate you for it. But now it is time for trivia, and there's only 2 of us today. So we had to get a little bit creative here. I have today's immaculate grid just here and ready. I am going to try and share my screen. Give me just 1 second, because I am having trouble doing so here. But there we go. Share screen.
Alex, may I request something?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Can you get off my bit? I'm the one with the technical issues.
No, I refuse. I will only ever be an issue.
Okay.
So we have the immaculate grid. I've not done mine yet today, neither has Splash. Okay. So I have an idea. I want to run this by you for selling way to do this. Let's just be honest. You know more about baseball than I do. Like, that's not a question at this point. You know more than I do. You know more players than I do specifically. So I think what we should do here is you give a 1-word clue for me for each one of these, and I gotta see if I can figure out who it is.
Okay.
And if I already know someone that I want to use, I'll just let you know on that one. Mm-hmm. But if there's anybody that like if there's any places where you're like, ooh, do this, 1-word clue.
Okay.
I feel like, what do you agree to these terms?
Sure. I have some ideas.
Cool. All right. I'll tell you what, you'll tell me where we go then. Just so, I want to give you more agency.
Okay.
In this.
We're going to go bottom right. So 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases.
Okay. And that is in one single season here. I mean, yes. I know the easy one in my opinion here. I want to say it's Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
but do you have anyone else that you want to go for?
My clue for you is my clue for you is unicorn.
Oh, so Ohtani.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
50-50.
Yeah. All right, let's just go with I need to get back into here. There we go. Whoops. We'll go with that. Yep, that one's fairly good. All right, where are we going to next?
All right, let's go to Braves Cubs.
Braves and Cubs. Okay.
Braves Cubs. We're gonna go shortstop.
Ooh, man, I don't know. Maybe I wonder if that could be one Dansby Swanson that you're trying to talk about.
Maybe it's a different shortstop that also won a Gold Glove.
It's Dansby, not Danzy.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Also
Dansby
worked
Swanson.
with Andrelton Simmons.
True. Oh, duh. Yeah, that's fair. Alrighty, where's you next?
We're gonna go middle. Braves and
Middle.
Twins.
Okay.
All
What
right.
is your clue?
My clue is NLCS.
NLCS. Wait a minute. If you're talking about with this year's NLCS, are you referring? I'm just curious. Are you referring to this year's NLCS?
No.
Oh, then I have no idea what you're referring to.
Okay, I'll try again.
Okay. This is just an expose on me not being as knowledgeable.
Oh, well, I gotta give you a good clue though.
Yeah, no, I respect
I
it.
think that clue made a lot of sense to me. All right. We're gonna go with rain. Rain. To be clear, like the rain falling from the sky.
Oh, RAIN.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just curious. Tim Raines? Is that your thing?
No.
Okay. Okay. Then we're gonna come back to that one because I do like.
All right.
How about
we'll go Braves 30 steals.
Yeah. Do you want to do the easy one, or do you want to try to go a different one?
I mean, I'd love to do a harder one, but I can't think of any good clues for them.
Okay.
Venezuela.
Okay.
My king, my glorious king, the greatest right-handed hitter to ever live. Okay. 48%.
All right.
We're gonna go Cubs Giants.
Okay.
The clue is pearls.
Pearls. Huh. I'm realizing now that this is a horrible idea as I don't know things. So
I'm also realizing you're not a Braves fan, so maybe we have a different reference point.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Here, okay. I do.
Okay,
not
I'll go to a different.
Okay.
Briss Cryant.
Okay.
Is that cheating? Maybe.
Absolutely, it is. But we're going with it.
but let me defend myself. It was in a Dude Perfect skit.
Oh, this is fair. Yeah,
that was his name in a Dude Perfect skit.
I know exactly the video that you're talking about too. That's the softball stereotypes video.
Yes. All right. We'll do Cubs 30 home runs. All right. Your clue is leadoff.
Okay. Then has Seiya hit a 30?
I would not be confident in that answer.
Okay.
Maybe he has. I'm not 100% sure.
Trying to think who's Cubs leadoff here on that. Schwarber.
I don't know if he hit 30 with the Cubs, to be honest with you.
I don't think he has to with the Cubs.
Yeah, it has to be with the Cubs.
Oh, it does have to be with the Cubs? Okay. The only other names I can think of are Ryan Sandberg. That's from the clue leadoff.
Yeah.
Ernie Banks.
I don't think Banks hit leadoff. He hit 30 home runs in a season. Stanberg, I know in 84 it was close. I wouldn't be confident answering that.
Okay.
MLB Power Pros leadoff.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, man, I need to play more than just success mode.
Yes, you do, Alex.
No, is this Arcade Kosuke Fukudome?
No.
That's what they put at leadoff for me. Here, every time I played, yeah.
What about the guy with the most leadoff home runs in the era? A-level power left fielder. Former Yankee, former National, former Ranger.
Here's the thing: is I can see like the character model in my head.
Was traded for Alex Rodriguez.
Not to another one. While my brain tries to load here.
Okay, well, we can go to a different spot if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do so. Yeah.
All right. Twins, 30 home runs. I'm gonna say killer.
Killer?
Yes, killer.
Buxton?
No.
Killer.
Buxton would work though.
No, we're just gonna go Buxton.
I was looking for Harmon Killebrew.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Giants, 30 steals. We're gonna go with Balanced Breakfast.
Okay, Barry Bonds. I'm curious. Do you think that Angel Pagan would have worked for the 30 steals? I just always remember him being a fast guy.
I don't know if he got to 30 steals. 30 steals is like I don't want to say lapsed in my knowledge, but I need to have like some sort of basis. Like I don't just remember, oh yeah, he had 30 steals. It's either way more than 30 or like Ronald went 40-70.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, all right.
I will say, thankfully, the 30 stolen base category is now out. So
yes. Okay. Giants and Twins. Okay. Your clue is twin.
Oh, Bobby Bonds.
Yeah. What?
You said, oh, no. What am I doing with my life? Twin?
Yes, twin.
That's the team name on the Twins.
Yes. Twin in the sense that his brother also plays baseball. And they were, in fact, teammates on the Giants.
Okay. Is it a Molina? Is it
No.
Benjamin Molina?
No.
Okay.
I think he's back on the Twins, actually.
That doesn't help. They don't have any players anymore.
Good point. Besides Buxton.
This is true. Besides Buxton and Joe Ryan.
Yes.
All right. All right. You just got to tell me on this one.
Taylor Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler and Taylor were teammates on the
Right.
Giants for a little while. All
Okay.
right.
I need to know, what was the leadoff clue for
Alfonso Soriano.
Oh my gosh, you're right, and I hate that. It's one of my favorite guys.
Another member of the 40-40 club.
Truly. And then we
Although
have
not with the Cubs.
Braves.
All right.
Braves and Twins.
When I originally gave you the clue, it was 2021, or it was NLCS, being Eddie Rosario, NLCS MVP. Rain, Josh Donaldson.
Oh.
No,
I think Josh Donaldson's going to be an interesting one at the very least.
Okay, and let me. AJ Pierzynski, but I couldn't get you a clue for AJ Pierzynski.
Flowers. Is it?
No. Yeah, I think that's a solid grid.
Not the best grid of all time, but definitely
one of the grids of all time. I think if I were doing it, I probably would have put Rogers Hornsby in the top left. I read a story about him yesterday, so I have it's on my mind. So I think some fun names there.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you for that splash here, because honestly, I kind of put you on the spot on that, but thank you. All right. It's now time to end our show the way that we end all of our shows here, with the moment to ourselves, where we take a moment, talk about whatever's on our mind. Does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. Swash, would you like to go first? You want me to go first?
Yes, I would like to go first today.
All right, sounds good. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi. I'm not going to claim to be the most religious person, but I felt this Bible verse is particularly poignant. This is Ecclesiastes 3. For everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. The point of that is you don't need to put artificial boundaries on the time you take to do some things. So this could be in a lot of contexts. This could be mourning. This could be excitement. For example, I'm not going to say, Alex, you can only celebrate the Seahawks for a day. That would be pretty crappy of me. Or if the Mariners won the World Series in the next year, I wouldn't say, you are not allowed to celebrate anymore, right? Or if you think about it in a negative context, it's okay for me to be sad that my mom's not here, right? Or for any number of reasons. And just understand that there's time, and you can have like an amorphous relationship with that time, that sometimes there's ebbs and flows. Like I'll use the baseball season as an example. Sometimes you're on a winning streak, sometimes you're on a losing streak. You don't know how long the winning streak is going to go. You don't know how long the losing streak is going to go. And that's okay. That's part of living. That's, you live in the moment, and you're living in that winning streak, right? You're living in the World Baseball Classic. You're living, well, you don't want to be in the losing streak, but you're in the losing streak and you're trying to figure out how to get better out of the losing streak, as opposed to womp womp, we're going to lose every game forever. So just keep some perspective there, that, there's a time to be positive. There's a time to be negative. And that doesn't mean it has to be 50-50. That doesn't mean it has to be 100-0. Just time and time.
I love that. I really do. I think that's something that people don't really think about as much, because we're so used to needing to rush through everything here. That's
right.
Having having the patience to understand that things take time, and there's a time for everything. I love that.
And I actually discovered this verse when I was in high school. When we did AP exams, we did them at a local church. So I wasn't feeling up to it the one day. I was like getting sick, and it's my AP Human exam. I was in 9th grade, and I wasn't feeling well, and I couldn't talk. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to read the Bible while we're sitting here in the church waiting to go up to the testing rooms. And I open it up, and the first thing I read is a time to be born and a time to die. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to friggin' seize the day today. I can be sick another time. Let's go get a 5 today. And I got a 5 on that exam. So shout out to my professor there. So big time.
That's sick. I like that. That's absolutely sick.
Yeah, that's been my favorite for a long time. And I circled back to it in one of my like devotional things I did about a week ago. So thought it was apropos today.
Oh, yay. Yeah. No,
all right, your turn, Alex.
All right. Sounds good. Count me down.
3, 2, 1.
I just want to talk a little bit about Andres Sartoria a little bit more. Like I talked about him earlier, but I just want to bring out how incredible this story is. He's a guy that has played professional baseball. He's been on like the circuit here, playing in the Czech Republic. And has he been the absolute best guy ever? No, but he's been pretty darn good for a while now. He announced again he's going to retire after this WBC here. But what I love so much about this here is that, in my opinion, he is the definition of what the WBC is about. The WBC, like we talked about, is like the Olympics, is a very it's a very human thing here, where we are seeing these humans in matchups that we never thought were even really possible. And he made headlines last time, right, in 2023, when he faced off against Team Japan and struck out Lars Nootbaar, Kensuke Kondo, Munetaka Murakami, and most famously, Shohei Ohtani. And again, obviously they're like, oh, that's a cool, little whatever here. Like, cool. This guy came up and just faced some of the best in the world and shut them down. That's really cool. This year, WBC plays against Team Japan again. Goes 4 2/3 innings without giving up a run. And in his other start, didn't give up a run either. He has a 0 ERA for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. So amazing. Just that. But what I want to bring up on top of this here is how much respect that people have and are seeing with something like this. These games took place in the Tokyo Dome here in Japan. And when he was taken off the field, the manager pulled him with 2 outs because he knew, and I think everyone else wanted to do it, they gave him a full stadium standing ovation. Not just the Czech fans, the Japanese fans as well, because they knew they saw something truly amazing. A guy that is an electrician by day here, that is an electrician to pay the bills, came up and held one of the best ever put together teams, held them scoreless for 4 2/3 innings. And I love what the broadcast crew also did with it. They made this out to be like he was this like hero. And to be honest with you, yeah, he kind of is. Like, did he save any lives here? Did he, go and, stop a burning building? No, that's not what makes a hero. A hero is someone who inspires. A hero is someone that can take not the best odds out there here, can be an underdog here and show that it's still possible to succeed. It is still possible to go out there and show that you don't need to be the big name to get the job done. And that's exactly what Andre did. He went out there, and for a team that, let's be real here, was going to be a shock to even make it, not just in out of pool play, but to make it with a win in this. And he still went out there and had the games of his life here. He is going up against professionals here that are getting paid millions upon millions of dollars. And when he was getting paid to play, he wasn't making enough to where he couldn't do it without also holding down a job as an electrician. That's what's impressive. That is what I love so much about the WBC. You have these matchups where you can have a 17-year-old high school student go up against the multi-time reigning AL MVP, and guess what? The 17-year-old can win that at-bat. Again, he got Aaron Judge to ground out into an inning double play and broke his bat. But I love seeing these storylines, and especially with Andre's run, being able to see him get to walk off the field. And then after the game, also, they basically held like a little mini ceremony for him because they knew that he was retiring. I was at only 29, but I get it here, especially since, again, he's not going to get any professional offers. But the amount of respect that people saw for what was essentially an electrician going out to play baseball for the Czech. And he was a hero. He inspired a lot of people that, you know what, you don't need to be, a guy that throws 97 here. You don't need to be a guy that has a curveball that, would break an ankle here. You just need to be someone that's going to try. Being a hero is not about being the big name. Being a hero is about inspiring and making a difference.
I think the Czech team, there's two things I want to point out. Number one, if this inspires anyone in the Czech Republic to pursue baseball and pursue professionally, there are some continental European players in the big leagues. Notably, Max Kepler was born in Germany. New Mariners third baseman Brendan Donovan was born in Germany. Use that for your immaculate grids in the future. I want to say, as a team, the Czech Republic, Czechia, heroes. There's some rule, right, that the Chinese Taipei team, to be politically correct, could not bring the Taiwanese flag onto the field. So guess who did? The Czech Republic team, Czechia team. That's pretty gangster right there.
That is.
So,
I love that.
that's awesome. And I know it was a bit of a bloodbath with Japan in that group, and we all knew Japan was going to go through, and it was a tiebreaker to see who goes through in second. But that was just a great group to watch. The Australia was a fun team. Korea was a fun team. Chinese Taipei, and of course, Czechia, great stories. And maybe Japan wins the tournament, maybe they don't. But either way, this was a phenomenal group to watch. The storylines for all 5 teams were excellent.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, but I think that's all we have time for on today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning into this live stream, or if you're watching us later on here, make sure you go to the live stream here. We record every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here, but also you can catch us on YouTube. You can watch the VODs here, and you can also find us on Spotify here. Make sure you give us a glowing review. We always appreciate any kind of support. If you have any questions for us here, you can hit us up on social media. You can go follow me at SportsGuy242. You can go follow Splash at Mrs. Splashman19. And you can also go follow Mac, who is not here today, at Matthias_A_K, or the collective of us here at LAR_baseball. But from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!